No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. I'm Amy and today I am quoting Eleanor Roosevelt to talk about Carl Jung. We're actually talking about our shadow selves, and I bring up Jung because he is the one who started talking about our shadow self as like our subconscious, something that we have hidden. But what happens with that, and not that everything is bad in our subconscious, but we tend to push things into our shadow self that are like impulses, like greed and selfishness. And maybe we hide anger there. Maybe we hide beliefs that are just harming us. And this is the first step, shadow work is, to uncovering those things and letting them go, letting things go that no longer serve us. That comes up a lot in my readings, so that's why I wanted to do a video on our shadow self. So what is our shadow? Our shadow is the part of us that we don't see. It's our unconscious mind. Freud would call it our id. It is where we just store and pack things. And I would say that just because it's unconscious doesn't mean that not everything in our conscious is negative. So we have some shadow aspects, some shadow things. But if something is bubbling up to the surface and it is triggering us and making us angry, then yes, that is something we need to look at in our shadow self. So why do you want to deal with your shadow self? Well, think of it like this. In my backyard, I have a cottonwood tree. And it's off to the corner and I don't think much about it and it's not a problem, right? Except cottonwoods shoot up little baby trees out of their roots. So all of a sudden in the middle of my yard, I've got this baby tree here and this baby tree over here and this baby tree over here. And I can keep going around and cutting those down, mowing over them, pulling them out. But until I get to the root of the problem, until I dig in and get that root or get rid of that big tree that I've shoved off to the side and I don't think much about, those little issues are going to keep popping up and I'm going to have to keep dealing with them. Same with the shadow issues. If you keep having this annoying thing pop up that triggers you and it's something over here and something over here, and you just keep letting yourself get triggered, but you never dig in deep and find the root of that problem, figure out, ask the question, why does this bother me? Then it's always going to be a problem for you. And as we know, when we avoid things or we deny it or we push it off on somebody else, those problems have a tendency to grow bigger and bigger and bigger and have then become like bigger problems for you. So we want to let go of avoidance and face these things, shine a light on it, and move past them. As an example for myself, I am I don't have the best confidence when it comes to my job or work. I don't actually work right now, but finding jobs and things like that, I didn't have a lot of confidence in that, which is crazy because pretty much everybody that I've ever worked for would give me a glowing review. And they have, if you looked at my LinkedIn. And if I asked them, they would. So why am I so consciously worried that I don't have enough confidence out there if I apply to a new job or that I would get a job done? Well, I have to kind of go back into my beliefs about myself. And I uncovered that a belief about myself is I only can get a job from somebody who knows me. I'm like, well, that's weird because not everybody knows you. But my first job, I worked for my best friend's stepdad. So, and it wasn't even a belief of my own. It was a belief that somebody else told me because my first job was actually a pretty good job, albeit difficult and stressful. And my best friend's stepdad is a very, very difficult person to work for. And I did an excellent job there. But somebody was really jealous because I made a decent amount of money. It was an actual career and I was really young to have that job. But that jealousy kind of popped up there, and instead of me recognizing that that was jealousy from that person's shadow self, I kind of took that on, and I was like, oh, maybe I can't find a decent job unless I know somebody. But that's networking anyway. So even if it is because you know somebody, that's not a bad thing. So that's a shadow aspect, a belief that I had that I needed to let go, and to really gain confidence in the jobs and the things that I do. So that's just an example. So when I talk about a lot in my readings about letting things go, letting things flow, these are the kinds of things that I am talking about. But it's different for every single person. Everybody has their own trigger points. For instance, if somebody comes up to you and tells you that you're ugly, some of us may be upset about that, but some of us may be like, whatever, that doesn't bother me at all. You know why? Because like Eleanor Roosevelt said, they don't have your consent for you to be upset about that. However, if somebody comes up to you and says, you have a big nose, and it's a button issue for you, it is something that you are self-conscious about, that will bother you, because in your subconscious you're already upset or angry about it, or that's a like a raw subject for you. They have your consent, even though you didn't come out and say, hey, you can insult me in this way and it's going to trigger me and upset me, because that is an issue for you in your shadow self. And when somebody says it, they have your consent, and you get upset about it. So those are the types of things, those are the types of issues that we're talking about when we're talking about our shadow self and shadow work. I do have a tarot reading after this, so I have the timestamps in the description down below, and that's just piggybacking on this whole idea of shadow self, and maybe give you a direction on where to go to work on things and how to work on it. Hello again. I'm glad you stayed for this reading part. I have 4 piles for us. If you are new to pick card readings, I will tell you what these crystals are here in a moment, and then you can pick the pile that resonates for you. The pile number 1 here, we have Kyanite. Pile number 2, this is Sardonyx. You can see all the swirls in this. 3 is Dendritic Agate. And pile 4, which I think this looks like a dragon eye, this is Carnelian. And Carnelian is not polished. These 2 are polished, and then the Kyanite isn't polished. It just has a geometric structure behind it. So close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, exhale, open your eyes, and which pile is calling your attention? You are using your intuition to pick a pile for yourself, and I will use my intuition to read the pile for you. These are all the tarot cards that got pulled for each pile, and then I will be pulling these oracle cards once we get into the reading. So those are archetype cards, and then these are Queen of the Moon Oracle, and hopefully that will give us a little bit more information to help us out with our shadow work. So the timestamps are down below, and I will meet you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you picked the Kyanite, you are in the right place. Let's take a look at the cards. So the first card is the overall journey. That's what I pulled this card with that intent. This is actually from the Jungian, Carl Jung, or Jung. It's not Jung, it's Jung or Jung is how I've heard it pronounced. So forgive me if you pronounce it differently, but this is the Jungian deck, which is specific to his philosophies, and I wanted to pull one card from this to kind of get an overall glimpse of your journey for shadow work. And this is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is often depicted as like a religious figure, kind of the Pope, think the Pope. It could be a guru, but it's kind of like a middleman. It's kind of somebody who is in between you and something else. Now, sometimes this can be a positive thing because it's somebody that you're learning from. Other times, and since we're talking about shadow work, I feel like this is something or a belief, possibly that has to deal with religion, that is kind of blocking you, that is in your way between you and your connection to your soul, your spirit, to the universe, that you have a blockage here. The Hierophant, especially in like the Jungian way of looking at it, is definitely somebody in the middle and is kind of like there as almost kind of like a false god that, the Pope is getting his power because people are believing in him and his connection to God, when really that you have the power inside of yourself. Now, that's a very simplistic version of what I just said, and obviously if you are a devout Catholic and you are into that and you don't feel like it's holding you back in any way, great. I'm not trying to say anything bad about religion. However, if you are angry at me for saying that, guess what? That's a trigger point. And religion may be a trigger point for you. It's a trigger point for a lot of people, and it's for a reason. Because I think that there are a lot of people who go into it for the sense of community and connection, and those are very, very good things. And then you have like a figurehead that can help you out through those things. I mean, even me right now, I am telling you things, I am kind of helping you with a connection, right? But when it's used to promote themselves or take power away from you, or you're not feeling a connection because of that, that's a problem. So this card here kind of represents a false god, and somebody standing in a way of your knowledge. First card here is something that we need to accept, and this is the Nine of Cups, and I think this is a very beautiful card, and I hope that we can all accept this about ourselves. The Nine of Cups is often called the wish card. It is about having all of your wishes fulfilled. Cups is about emotions. 9 is almost the completion of that. You can see just the joy coming out of this card. Kind of radiating out here from this heart chakra, this pure joy and love, and putting yourself into joy, that if you need to accept that joy is for you, that you are loved, that everything you deserve everything. You deserve all of your wishes to be fulfilled. This also can talk about having gratitude for everything that you have and manifesting your dreams, that your dreams are worthy of being manifested, and you are an absolute fantastic person. And if somebody in authority has told you something different, maybe they told you that you need to be, that you can't be wealthy and be connected to God. That's a problem. That's not true. And you need to figure out what's true for yourself, and that you can manifest your own dreams and understand that you are the one in charge of it. You're the one in charge of your reality. You're in charge of what you believe. You are in charge of your own connections to other people, to the universe, to everything, and accept this love and manifest your dreams and take control and have gratitude for that. The next card is what to forgive. Okay, so King of Pentacles. I mentioned something about like somebody saying to you possibly that you couldn't, like you can't have material things, you can't be wealthy. and have a connection to spirit or to God. And I kind of feel that coming through here into the forgiveness of the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is somebody who is very connected with wealth. The Pentacles is all about material things. And if you need to forgive that, you need to kind of let that belief go so that you aren't blocking your own prosperity and success. Living a minimalistic life is a lot different than feeling like you need to live in poverty or to live with less to prove that you're a good person, to prove that you're a kind person. And I'm getting almost like the feeling that somebody told you this right now, and it's a limiting belief that you need to forgive and let go and embrace, not necessarily materialism, but embrace that there is enough for everyone, that there's absolutely enough for everyone. And just because you have something, it doesn't mean somebody else goes without. Now, if you still kind of have that belief, well, then be thankful for what you have and put forward, help other people gain what they want, what they need. So working with charity, like, that is an absolutely fantastic thing to do, is helping others, because we all do need help at some point. But right now we're talking about you in your shadow. And I feel like there is an issue here with materialism and materialistic things. This could also be a specific person that you need to forgive, that somebody, because the King of Pentacles can represent a person. Pentacles are earth signs. So this could be a masculine energy earth sign person that is in your life that you need to forgive, possibly like a father figure, maybe older than you, that they have told you things. And understand that I don't think, although there are people who tell you things because they are mean and rude and angry and bitter, right? But that is all about them. I don't think that people are intentionally setting out to hurt you. They don't want to hurt you. They are just damaged themselves and haven't worked on their own shadow. And so then it comes out that way. So if you're looking at this card and thinking of a specific person who hurt you, it is time to work on that, and what it is specifically when you look at this like materialistic father figure, this earth sign father figure that is triggering you, and why you're thinking of them, and what are the things that you need to forgive them for. Understanding that we are all human, and right now you are taking a journey to move beyond where you are and progress spiritually and grow and be a better and happier and whole person who finds joy in things. And understand that even though somebody may be more mature than you are, that they may not have taken these steps. And because of that, unfortunately, people hurt other people because they themselves are damaged. All right, so the next card is what we need to release. And we have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, okay, so this is a really interesting card to begin with because she's blindfolded and she's got like these birds here, which represent thoughts, and it's kind of like having a tug of war with her, and she doesn't even see where things are going. Like they're pulling her back and forth. So it's kind of like, almost feel like you're in the middle of some sort of tug of war. Two of Swords often talks about like a decision that needs to be made. I love her tattoo. It almost looks like a scale, like she's balancing out things. So it's kind of like because she's blindfolded and she's choosing to be blindfolded here, she could very well take the blindfold off. She's very capable of that. And so are you. I think you need to release the blindfold. I think you need to look this in the face and step out of that tug of war. If it is a decision that needs to be made, actually look at it. Actually figure out what is right for you, not what is right for this bird or that bird. Don't get stuck in the middle. Make a balanced decision with your eyes open for you. What you need to learn, and this is the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands, this is actually a very pretty card. It reminds me of fireworks in some way. Even though there's nothing here but these wands, there seems to be like a joy associated with it. But Eight of Wands is very rapid energy. Things coming at you very fast. So this is, you know, learning that fast energy is good, that you can make changes very, very quickly. Because you have this wish card, you know, understanding your manifestations and what you're going for, and even just doing the shadow work can put you like light years. I said light years, and it reminds me of that. You know, when you're jumping to warp speed in like Star Wars. It kind of looks like that, but you are ready for this journey. And Wands is all about passion. I think this is finding your passion. And once you do, this Nine of Cups and this Eight of Wands, like it's just going to come so rapidly and so naturally for you. You don't need somebody in the middle telling you what to do. You have this power inside of you. And don't be concerned that it comes rapidly for you. That can very, very much happen. And then finally, the end of result here, really what can help you along this journey is the Four of Swords. This is, be wary of this Eight of Wands, like when you take a rapid step that you may need to just breathe and take a nap and just relax and let the information flow to you. The Four of Swords often talks about meditation, relaxing. You know, even though you're on this journey to self-discovery, you may want to just like keep going and going and going and going. Make sure that you take breaks here and you rest. And a lot of times it's in this rest position when you're actually not even thinking about your end goal. Like you set this end goal, I'm going to work on this shadow aspect of myself. But I'm going to sleep on it. Like when you are resting, that is when you make the biggest advancements. And I said sleep on it. So when there is something that you have a question about and you're not sure the answer of it, that you think about it before you go to bed, make sure that it's not stressful, that it's not going to keep you up, and just say, you know, just have it in your mind as you're going to give it up to your subconscious and let your subconscious work on it. So let's look at some archetype cards. Is there an archetype that can help us? And this is how I shuffle. I usually don't shuffle on camera because it can take some time for stuff to come out. Martyr. Light attribute, learning the transcendent nature of service of one's cause. And the shadow attribute is addicted to self-pity. Okay, let's pull one more. So, oops. This one fell on the floor, but it jumped out for us. So I'm going to take it. This is Judge. Light attributes, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power, and the shadow attributes, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So with these, I think, we're talking about our shadow self, so let's talk about the shadow attributes. Just be aware that, you know, addicted to self-pity, that sometimes we can get addicted to like people going, oh no, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And sometimes we just put up things on Facebook or other social media with the intent of getting some sort of an emotional like energy from our friends for that. It's not really the healthiest. The healthiest way is to be fulfilled within yourself. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, you know, every once in a while, just understand that that's what you're doing. You're also, if you're just leaving cryptic nature or cryptic messages on there, like, this world is completely messed up, and like, that's it. Or relationships suck, or, you know, something like that. Basically just like something that's kind of fishing for compliments, fishing for people to come in with their positive energy and give it to you. A better way would be you paying a compliment to somebody and then they, you know, reciprocating back, because then that type of energy grows and grows and grows. Where this type of energy, this addicted to self-pity, it kind of creates its own monster. You just need more and more and more and more. And then all of a sudden you are like, because, you know, our words have meaning, and what we tell people and what we tell other people, if you get into this self-pity thing, like, there's no amount of people telling us great things about ourselves that get you out of it. So this is a trap. Shadow attributes of the judge here, offering only destructive criticism. So just be careful with your words. I feel like this can also be like people telling you things that might be related here to this Hierophant, this overall, that you have been criticized in some way. This could be also this person that you need to forgive, that they have given you criticism and you've taken it and not used it constructively, or they may have just said something terrible to you with the intent to hurt you. And kind of understanding that when somebody does that, when they say something mean to you and you know that it's mean and you know they meant it mean, that it is their own self, like that says more about them than it says about you. Somebody sitting in front of you and telling you that you're ugly or something like that says more about this person than it does about you. And you need to just give that back to them. Let them deal with their own shadow and realize that a lot of times those things have nothing to do with you. I also like that there is this balance here. Remember, I was talking about the Two of Swords with the balance that we have coming in. So I feel like something is imbalanced for you. Probably related to a decision, probably related to you feeling like you're in the middle of something. Maybe it's this King of Pentacles pulling you one way versus the way that you want to go. This King of Pentacles could also be the Hierophant as well for some of you. Remember, this is a general reading, so not everything is going to resonate. And let's see if I can get faith. So this is Worm Moon Faith. So have faith that all is going to work out. I love this as well. This is very connected here to this Four of Swords, with just letting go, letting flow, and understanding that, you know, cups, this flow here, flow this energy, understanding how powerful you are and that you have your own connection to the universe, that you don't have to let anybody else decide things for you. This is you stepping into your own power, your own growth here. This looks a lot to me like the Empress in the tarot, where she's pregnant. This doesn't mean you're going to be pregnant, but it talks about, you know, having new ideas and kind of just, because she's relaxing here, she's kind of just marinating with that new idea and letting those things kind of flow into her life. Because I think that you're going to have a lot of new ideas come to you. This Eight of Wands is like a lot of new energy come into you once you start on this journey. And then we have the path. Ooh, I love this. So your path, once you make your decision, is just going to be illuminated for you. Waxing crescent. Waxing just means it's a phase of the moon where it's going from new moon to full moon. And I like that with the path, because as we're going from new moon to full moon, the moon is growing, right? It's getting bigger, it's growing in intensity. And that is like this is a time of manifestations. That's time of bringing things in. That's a time of bringing information in and you really growing and finding your way. But this is really great because it is talking about this journey that you're on. You're definitely finding your way, and it's your way. It's not the way that somebody else has designed for you or set up for you. This is what you want, and that's what I love for you. So thank you, group 1. I think that's all I have. And please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 2. If you picked the Sardonyx, you are in the right spot. Let's take a look at the cards. The first card is from the Jungian tarot, and it's basically, and this is the High Priestess, and this is basically like your journey here into your shadow. And the High Priestess I love for you for this. Because she is all about the subconscious. She's about connecting with your subconscious. So I feel like this is going to be really enlightening for you, that you're going to find the information you're looking for. I love in this particular card that she has a mask on. So this tells me that there are things there for you that you can learn about yourself that is really going to help you. That you have like this maybe hidden inner personality that you have been trying, maybe putting a mask over. A lot of people pleasers, that's coming to mind, do this. Like they are so concerned about what other people will think of them that they try to put on a mask for every different situation and every different person. And putting on a mask in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we wear them at work because we want to, I put on my professional mask that when I go to work, this is the person who I am. At home, I take that mask off and I put on my mom mask. And but I don't want to wear my mom mask when I'm with my husband. That's even a different mask. And no, but that's kind of like different aspects of my personality though. That is who I am. When you are wearing a mask, when you're with a certain group of friends because you want them to like you for a specific reason, that's when we can have a problem with those masks. And that is when we need to look at our shadow self and really discover who we are and what's important to us. And sometimes trying on these different masks helps us do that because, we don't really know who we are. We're developing who we are until we go to these different groups and discover these different things and realize, who is this person underneath? And that's what this journey is about, getting in touch with that person underneath. This can also talk about dreams being important to you. And that, trust your intuition, tap into that intuition to develop it. And that this could be a very spiritual journey for you. She's standing here in water. Water often represents the subconscious or intuition. So it's going to be an enlightening experience for you. The first card here that we have is the Wheel. And this is what I pulled this card with the intent of what do you need to accept, and accept that the you know, life has ups and downs, and we all do. So don't get so concerned with your downs and feeling like you're the only person that this has ever happened to and the world is stacked against you, kind of thing. This wheel, and especially in this deck, is kind of her mastering that. And that's what I see your spiritual journey, your journey with your shadow self is gaining a mastery of those ups and downs, that when these downs happen, that it's teaching you something. It can be enlightening. And often we have like a lot of spiritual growth from those downs. To give you an idea from my own personal is, well, I mean, you just went through 2020. I think you have some downs that you can think of. But for me personally, I broke my ankle this year or last year. And that was, you know, just a crazy, like, what is going on? Why me? That was really difficult because I've got two children that are pretty demanding. So, but it was really actually, like, even though as horrific as it was and painful and difficult as that was, it was kind of like an enlightening experience. I got to sit there for a few weeks when I couldn't do anything or go anywhere and really think about the things that I want. And that is what these life's ups and downs are supposed to be for. That when downs happen, it kind of gives you a reflection of, can give you an appreciation of when things are going well, because I was really appreciative when I could finally walk, which could be something that I was taking for granted. So having gratitude for the beautiful things in your life, and appreciating that downtime for shining a light on those things for you, and understanding like the wheel is turning. And it's often equated to karma, but it doesn't have to be, because you know, just sometimes things happen, and it's not because you did anything bad, or it's not that you deserve it. It's just that you can use it to help you. I like that there's a light side and a dark side here. It's very much connected to us talking about our shadow self. So the next card is what to forgive. And this is the Three of Cups. This could be friends or family. You know, if that resonates for you, great. It could also be somebody that you've been working with to, you know, I was talking about gratitude here. You know, understand that we are all human and we all make mistakes and we all say stupid things and we all do stupid things. And through my own insecurities, I have maybe said, I know I have said, it's not a maybe, I've said some really dumb and stupid things to the people that I love. So forgive yourself if you've done that, and forgive others that have done that to you. What's the prayer? Like, forgive our trespasses and those who've trespassed on us, that kind of thing. This could be deeper for some of you as well, because the Three of Cups, when it comes up and it's coming up in forgiveness, and it's coming up here in our shadow reading, so I feel like I need to mention it. When it comes up in a love reading, Three of Cups can also mean like three's a crowd situation. So like cheating. And even if you are not with that partner any longer, if somebody cheated on you, or even if you cheated on them. So this is letting that go so that it doesn't interfere with your current situation. So that's what we need to forgive. Number 3 is release. What do we need to release? And this is interesting that it is Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is waiting. And it is waiting for, it's planting these seeds here and just waiting for those things to grow. So understanding that if we're talking about our shadow selves, and I think I mentioned this, if I didn't, and because this is a thought that's reoccurring with me when I think about shadow work and shadow selves, that, you know, we have this root system and we need to pull everything out and to get rid of it, to get rid of these things that no longer serve us, that are in our shadow. Like basically the shadow is the soil, and these are thoughts that we need to dig through and pick up and pull out. So when we're talking about releasing, this is releasing those deep-seated thoughts within our shadow, and that it's going to take some time. The Seven of Pentacles is also about taking time and understanding that, and just relaxing with that process, trusting the process, that eventually this is going to work out for you. It's kind of like a stream of conscious kind of thing. You don't really know if something bothers you until it pops up, and then you can work on pulling it out. What I like to do is when I do recognize something that I need to work on that is in my shadow self, that I do need to release, this is all about release, I journal it out. So I write it down and then just do a stream of conscious, which means that you just write down everything that comes to mind, everything that pops up, and then all of a sudden you're at like a completely different spot than you thought you would be. But that's the importance about it, because you see this plant here, or this weed, in this situation when we're talking about our shadow self, and you don't realize that you need to go over here. You know, that's not like a direct, you don't think that it's a direct connection, but it is. Like it's this tangled connection of things that you need to get out and release, and trust that process. And it's going to take some time, and just do it here and there when it comes up, and that you need to let go. Next, we have the Queen of Swords, and this is in the position of what can you learn? And I love the Queen of Swords here. She's very diplomatic and logical. She's got great social skills. She's great at speaking her mind. And I'm wondering, you know, I talked about people pleasing. I talked about putting masks on. I'm wondering if you need to take a step back and be able to speak your mind about things. So this is really stepping up and being a leader, but, you know, kind of like leading yourself, but leading by example. And maybe you have some friends and family who need to do shadow work. That's not basically lead by example. This is something that you can't force on someone, even though you know they might need it. You are this example. You're out here ahead of the crowd, ahead of everybody else, and because you're becoming like this better person, and you're feeling better about yourself, because you're doing this shadow work. It's like a lead by example kind of thing. And then where can I get help? King of Wands here. So you may know somebody who has done shadow work as well. This may be an older masculine energy person. Wands is fire energy, so a fire sign who can help you. That's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, somebody who considers themselves a light worker. If this isn't somebody in your circle of friends or people that you know, maybe it's somebody on, you know, that you find through social media, YouTube, something like that, who can help you shine a light on something. I said light worker. You might want to look into that for yourself as well. Shadow work is shining a light on your shadow. So King of Wands, somebody who holds a light that can help you with that. This could also be just somebody who triggers you. So if you see like a triggering tweet on Twitter, for example, and it's very angering, that can actually help you, because that helps you peek into your subconscious and understand that you have an issue with that subject and you need to look into it yourself. That's the weed that pops up and you need to do some work and figure that out. So let's take a look at, these are archetype cards. I'm going to pull a couple archetype cards for us. Oh. Okay, so let's find an archetype card for us. This one wants to come out. Healer, light attributes, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit, ability to help transform pain into healing. The shadow attributes of it, though, are taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. I almost feel like you're putting others before you, and with this mask here, and when I said people pleaser, so that might be that you're so concerned with others that you're not caring for yourself. And Don Juan. Light attribute spotlights your positive seductive qualities. You know, the Queen of Swords can be very seductive. Actually, so can the King of Wands. So there we go. And shadow attribute, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. So you definitely don't want to try to manipulate others. Take those if they resonate. If not, I hope that the other things we have said resonate. And then the unexpected, expect the unexpected blue moon. This card actually comes out a lot in my readings. And I think that when we start looking at ourselves, looking into ourselves here, that we really are surprised at the things that come out and surprised about the energy and the power behind them, and in a good way, in a positive way. You know, usually when we're talking about something that only happens once in a blue moon, it's usually something, you know, positive and unexpected and surprising. So I think this journey for you might be surprising. It's going to bring up some things that it's going to uncover some things for you that you probably didn't even understand were holding you back. And the next one that came up for us is will. This is interesting here with the healer and the Don Juan. Like, both of these deal with other people. We also have this Three of Cups here, which deals with other people as well. Because I think of will as like, yes, your personal sheer will of what you were going to put your mind to it and handle it and make sure it gets done. I also see will in Seven of Pentacles. However, the important thing to remember with will is that it is personal. And that's kind of what I said here with the Queen of Swords. You can't force other people to do it. You can't force other people into your way of thinking or the way that you are doing things. Now, the flip side of that is they can't force you either. The only thing that you can do is hold yourself out as the example. You know, be that good example, be that great example, and people will learn from your example. And if they come and ask you for specifics, that's one thing. But to really approach somebody because you are this healer and you're going up to them and saying, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. Like, I'm not forcing people to watch this video, even though I think that it would be great for everybody to take a look at their shadow work, but I'm not forcing them to do that. I'm not telling them what their shadow is. It is a self-discovery process. It is you connecting with your intuition, yourself, and it is you, this like will to see it through this whole phase. I also love it here with, I said this whole phase, you know, the phase of the moons here. I love it with the Wheel of Fortune too, because the Wheel of Fortune is very cyclical. It's about phases. It's about that kind of thing. So that's what I have for you, group 2. You know, you are embrace these light attributes and work on these shadows. Understand that it's a process. Understand that it's a cycle. And I really feel like this journey is about you finding your true self. So that's fantastic. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3. If you picked the Dendritic Agate, you are in the right spot. So let's take a look at our cards. So the first card is, this is from actually the Jungian tarot deck, because we're talking about Carl Jung. And these are cards specific to his writings and his teachings. And I wanted to pull this. This is the star, by the way. And this is something that will like represent your journey through your shadow self. And the star is very, you know, really great here, because the star in tarot comes after the tower. The tower is kind of like this moment where everything gets stripped away, and it's very sudden, and it's usually through, you know, no fault of your own. And the star is kind of like, she's a person who lived in that tower, and she's left here kind of stripped away with that. Everything has been stripped away from her, including her clothes. But she's very hopeful. She's just kind of almost refreshed that all of these things that were kind of like building up, and they could be, you know, specifically when we're talking about the shadow, it could be all of these beliefs, it could be all of these feelings, it could be just all of these negative things that are holding you back. Like right now, she can build from nothing. She has this great foundation, and it's not from nothing, because nobody can take our experience away from us. We're building from experience. And she's very hopeful because she has all of the things that she needs inside of her. And you do too. So it's inspiration, it's knowledge, very much connected with, you know, a balance of all things. So I feel like this journey for you is, again, hopeful, and meditation might be something that helps you. There's an eye up here in the sky. Sorry about that, my battery died, but I think I said all I needed to say about the star. The next card is what we need to accept. So this is the moon. Accepting the moon is kind of difficult because we don't see everything. When you think about walking around outside, you know, it's not everything is clear. There's definitely shadows. The moon itself represents our subconscious mind, and that not everything is always clear for us. I love these 2 dogs. I often talk about them. One is supposed to be kind of like the tame dog. The other one is the wild. And that we have both of those things inside of ourselves. We have like the capacity of good and evil. And really that's what shadow work is about, is looking about those things that we are not, you know, that we haven't fully integrated, and shining a light on it and accepting it. The moon is about, you know, that there's hidden truths, that there are hidden truths, and there's hidden truths even in about ourselves. Like if we're hiding things from people, it really shouldn't be about, it shouldn't be from ourselves. But often it's funny, I talk about this a lot, like people who know and love us, like they might have a better idea of what's going on in our unconscious mind than we do of ourselves, because we kind of put this veil up, or we have these, we are in denial about things or deny ourselves, and maybe we don't, there's these hidden truths. But that's what this whole journey is about, that we have to accept that we have these hidden truths, and we're going to go deep into our subconscious mind to find them. And let them kind of float up to the surface. Because as you can see, she's in the water here. She's really deep. Don't let them drown you. Let it float up to the surface, and let's deal with it. Because you are not alone in this. I mean, we're all human. We are all flawed. Unfortunately, nobody is perfect. So there's going to be some things, and the stars over here working with water, and over here you feel like you might get into this and feel a little bit overwhelmed. Just keep that like higher perspective of the star. Think of yourself as a star in the sky. Kind of be objective. Keep that higher perspective and understand that this is for your own personal growth, and accepting, nobody's perfect, but we can love ourselves in spite of that, because we can love other people for their imperfections. That's actually what makes us unique and lovely. So number 2 is what to forgive, and this is the Chariot. This is another major arcana card. Let's see. In the context of forgiving, well, and it's interesting with this card here. So the Chariot here, and we've got 2 horses again with the light and dark. Light and dark here. We've got the light dog and the dark dog, light horse and the dark horse, but they're actually like moving and working together. If they aren't, it's out of control. So what we need to forgive is this feeling. I almost feel like I'm getting this feeling of out of control. So it's even with the Chariot and with the moon, like helplessness and out of control, and we need to forgive that about ourselves and understand that we need we need our dark side and our light side to work together to move us forward. We can't just let everything go off in every direction. We need a frame of reference. We need a point. We need to find that star that guides us, like that North Star, and point the Chariot, point our intentions in that direction, and really come in here and forgive when we were out of control, because now we are getting the tools and understanding to pick up the reins here and take control of the situation and find because we're going now in the direction that is good for us. Now, what do we need to release? Page of Pentacles. This is interesting. So Page of Pentacles can talk about materialism. And in and of itself, I don't think that being materialistic is bad. But when it is all consuming, when you are like getting these get rich quick schemes in your mind, I often think of that with the Page. The Page is brand new beginning. Page might be a day trader. And it's, releasing this kind of newbie energy. And when it deals with materialism, and really investigating the things that matter to you. A lot of times the Page of Pentacles, with materialism, like the bad thing about materialism is that we could want things for the sake of wanting it, because that thing represents the idea that we made it. So there's an undercurrent of like putting your ego into a thing rather than into yourself. This could also talk about like lack of progress, because the the page is a new person, like they're new at starting something. So when you are dealing with your shadow work, and it may have to deal with some sort of materialism, and again, materialism is great because it allows us freedom, and it, you know, having money, having these things is great because we have freedom and we can take care of others and that kind of thing. It's destructive when it's the only thing we think about. It's destructive when we waste money on things that aren't important and we don't take care of our basic needs. So just getting a mature grasp of that, and understanding, now I'm kind of shifting into it relating to the work that you're doing on your shadow, that you're new to this, so you may not make, it may not progress the way that you think it will. You may have to come back and forth with things. Be gentle with yourself and understand that you're learning and growing as we go along. Don't think that as soon as you start shadow work that you should be the end-all be-all expert guru on it, that this is actually, and I apologize, a years-long process, because new things pop up, new beliefs pop up. We don't always see these things because it's not necessarily like this belief that you may have had that's been embedded in you since you were 17 may not pop up right now. It may pop up in 5 years, because that's when you're faced with a situation where it's harming you, like that idea is harming you. So understand that this is a growth experience, that you're just starting off. You're not going to know everything, so don't worry about that. Don't, just that you're working on it. And it's really difficult to measure progress too. When you're doing a video game, it's so easy because we have all of these levels. We know which level we're on. With shadow work, you don't know that you're on level 1 or level 47, or you're almost beat the game, that kind of thing. So you have to let that go and understand that you're just reaching for a little bit more control over your life. You're just digging into yourself and learning more about yourself. You're becoming more objective about the things that you think about, and letting in some good feelings and some joy into your life, and not worrying about, oh, well, I've been doing this for a month, I should be at this point right now, because that's not how it works. Oh, okay. And then we have the Four of Cups coming after that, which is something that you need to learn. And this is kind of like appreciate the journey. Like, she does not look happy. That I wish there was kind of like, maybe I'll work on a checklist, but I wish that there was kind of like a checklist or a progress, or like a progress bar, like you're about to meet the boss level, that kind of thing. But there's not. But appreciate, look at, this is like a rainbow is filling up in this cup, and she's like, meh. When there's 3 other cups here that are empty, and she's not even appreciating this lovely cup that's filling up with all of her hopes and dreams. Just work on it little by little, and understand that progress can be slow. This is very individualized. This is very personalized. You're not going to know everything. I think that's why the moon is here, that it is a personal journey, and it is just about finding the joy. And what is more joyous than letting all this beautiful color into your life, but you're not even turned around and looking at it. So that's something that you need to learn to look at and appreciate the great things in your life, and have some gratitude. And when we all find ourselves in this situation. When you are really discontent, just take a moment, take a pause, and go, okay, I'm happy I'm warm right now. I'm happy I have a vehicle that gets me where I want to go. I'm happy I have the ability to go to the park and take a walk. Whatever it is, and just start listing off some things. And then you'll start to see this magic coming in. Now, the Four of Cups also, 4 is a number of stability. So you're in a very stable position, which is great. So be happy about those things. And then the final is who can help you. And this is why I think it's going to be kind of difficult for you to figure out your progress, because the person who can help you is yourself. This is all about you, but you're also going to have like this great self-satisfaction once you start uncovering some things and realizing what is going on in your mind. This is interesting too. Like the colors in both of these cards are so very similar in the Hermit and the Moon. And I feel like perhaps, this is going to be a cyclical journey for you, that you're going to figure out one thing and you're going to be very happy and be on this cliff and out looking at the water. And then you're going to find another thing and then find yourself, jump back in the water and find yourself feeling like you're drowning again. And that might be why we have these two cards here. But just appreciate this journey that you are continuing to go through, because shadow work is very much like that. It's finding this, shining this light, and it's your own personal light. It's a personal journey. And you have the star. The star can handle it. The star has been through a lot. And the star is just having this higher perspective on things. So this card wants to come out, storyteller. So the light attribute of the storyteller is the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. The shadow attribute is making up tales that harm others. The other thing is those tales that harm others, that might be a tale that harms yourself when you're not being objective, when you're not being, because this is very much, we're talking about ourselves right now, when you're not looking at the progress that you're making. And so just be very cognizant and careful of that. And this one popped out too, liberator, light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Perfect. That's exactly what we're doing here. Okay, the shadow attributes is imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. I also want to add to this shadow attribute from this liberator is that you get kind of like addicted to liberating, and you don't, like, you liberate one thing and you just feel like you need to keep going and going and going and not appreciate how far you've come and all the things that you've come. Now, this journey, like if this is helping you, this shadow work, you cannot force other people to do their own shadow work. And a lot of times we can look at other people and we know exactly what kind of shadow work they need to do based on, because we know them, we love them, we see the things they say and do, and we're like, okay, my friend has a problem with, whatever it is, X, Y, and Z. So if you have this liberator and you have this storyteller in you, you cannot force somebody to do shadow work. The best thing you can do is be the shining example, and the star is the shining example as well. Be that shining example, and people will see that and resonate with it, and ask you about it. So you can't force people to do something. Assessing, I love assessing so much with the star. It's looking at things from a higher perspective, higher angle. You think of stars in the sky. They are, it's being objective and being up, looking at things from a different perspective. And I think that You know, the start will very, very much help you. Assessing will very, very much help you when you feel like you're drowning. It's also so connected here with the Hermit, especially in this context, because she's basically, you know, if we're thinking about water as our emotions and our subconscious mind, like she is up here being an observer of your own thoughts and what are you thinking, and then questioning those things, and are they really helpful? Should you really continue to think that? Because a belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And does that belief serve you, or where did it come from? That kind of thing. So very, a lot of cards about being objective. That's very helpful for you. This one wants to come out. Peace. Very beautiful. This can talk about setting boundaries as well, because you're kind of like in this peace bubble. Meditation is a very good tool. Very connected to this hermit who is very much inside of herself, inside her own mind. And boundaries might be important for you as well to finding your peace. During this whole process, you may find that there are certain beliefs that you don't want to let into your bubble. There are certain people who are toxic in some way that you disturb your peace because they haven't dealt with their own shadow self. So you just need to put this bubble around yourself and protect yourself and reflect everybody else's shadow issues on them. And you'll see this when you're in like social media and you make some comment and somebody is very snarky or mean or rude to you, and you didn't mean, your comment had nothing to do with that. It's because you've triggered somebody in some way. So put that bubble up and understand that you're not the only person who needs to do shadow work. You're not the only person who is interested in it. You're just taking steps for yourself to be a more whole and complete person. And sometimes other people can't handle that because they understand that they probably should put in some work as well, but it's still like in their subconscious that it's not connecting for them. So that's what I have for you, group 3. I hope this was helpful. And please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group number 4. If you picked the Carnelian, which I think looks like a dragon's eye, you are in the right place. Let's take a look at the cards. So the overall energy for your shadow work, this is actually from the Jungian tarot deck, is the Chariot. So Chariot is about direction. It's about, really taking control of that direction and connecting with the divine. And in Greek mythology, I always think of the Chariot, the chariot that, and there's fire here as well, so that helps me think about it in this terms of Apollo. And Apollo used to take a chariot across the sky he pulled the sun across the sky. So that's where your connection with the divine is, but it's also like really, so it's a fast energy. It's a forward energy. So you do need to pick your direction. You do need to be in control. It's having control over your direction, and where you are going. Let's see. Anything else here? And then I guess in the Jungian tarot, the Chariot there's no time and space. There's no dimensions and no laws. So take that as it resonates. But for me, hearing that, like, there's no laws. So there's no like right answer, wrong answer. It's the direction that you decide to take this, the way that you want to go in. And sometimes knowing that is very freeing. Sometimes it's difficult because we need to have a direction, or we need to have steps to follow. So this card, the next card, which is Strength. This is something that you need to accept. You are probably stronger than you think you are. You have the strength inside of you. So she is like, has this half lion and then half her. Usually the strength card is a female walking with a lion, and that lion is at her service, is at her side, because she has this quiet, beautiful strength inside of her. It's not about brute strength. It is about this inner strength, this to get through it. And I love that there's a lamb on here. So it's, to me, this one especially, and then we have the infinity symbol that she's got tattooed on her, that it is very much about balance, the softness, the hard. And strength is connected to Leo in astrology. I don't know why I couldn't think about that for a moment. You are courageous and fierce, but you can be those things while also being soft and serene. And you have the strength that you can call on in yourself. And I'm not sure why I'm reminding you of this. Maybe you just need it. Maybe you have been like living in some sort of victim mentality. That is really addicting to do that. I've been there. I've been in, a lot of pain, and then it felt really good to get attention for me talking about that pain. And then I've mentally kept it longer than it needed to be because I got addicted to that. So I don't know if this could be for some of you, just breaking that cycle and realizing your inner strength, and that everything that you need is inside of you. So what to forgive? And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So forgiveness here is maybe something that's moving slower than you think it should. This Knight of Pentacles he's plowing the fields, he's planting seeds. Understanding that what you're doing now will have long-lasting effects for you. That you start off small, but that at the end of this, like, there's nothing growing in this field, but it is, you're kind of making like this bargain with your future. And the Knight of Pentacles is doing something very physical here. He's planting a field, and whatever this is, wheat, corn, beans, whatever it is that he is going to feed everybody else off of this later, he is putting in the work now. The kind of slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. But this does not have to be limited to, farming. This could be, basically it's a contract that you're making with your future. This could be you getting a degree. This could be you putting in whatever time or effort into something because it's going to turn into something bigger for you. And it's hard work and determination. And this, in the position of forgiveness, I feel like a lot of times when we do this work, whatever it is that we have to do now, because we know that it's going to grow bigger in the future, that it's something that we kind of just rush through, and you're just kind of like looking at the end point. Sometimes that end point just keeps getting moved out farther and farther and farther, though. In the case of like, if I do these things, I'm going to get a promotion, and then you don't get the promotion. So whatever work this is that you're putting in and doing, you need to, and we're talking about our shadow self, so this could be definitely digging into your own mind here, but enjoy the journey. The joy is in the journey. That yes, the whatever it is at the end of the rainbow that you're going after is important, but this time, because you're going to spend a lot of time here in this development phase, and probably more time in this development phase than you will at your end point. And sometimes we don't even get to our end point. So it's really about enjoying what you're doing now and where you're at now. Finding a way to enjoy that and doing things that you enjoy. Because you're going to spend a lot of time here, like I said. The Knight of Pentacles, he is moving, but he is moving pretty slowly. But he understands that everything that he's doing, every step that he's taking, is taking him to the next level. But it's enjoying this uncovering that is happening along the way. And in the context of shadow work, we're almost never going to get to our goal. We're never going to be done with it. There's going to be more and more things popping up. So this is really taking the time to, as we're getting stronger, enjoy the things along the way and the things that we discover about ourselves along the way. Your next card is the Queen of Cups. And this is something to release. The Queen of Cups, in like a negative context, in things that we would need to release with this card, can be very controlling and suppressing emotions and blocking intuition. So you need to release the control and kind of go with the flow. I also realized something else, that this usually when we're building something, or even when we're getting a degree, and I'm coming back here to this Knight of Pentacles of what to forgive, is that it's very systematic, right? That we're going to plant this row of beans and this row of beans and the next and the next and the next, right? We know the steps one by one that we need to take. We know exactly what we need to do. If you're getting a degree, you know there's a list of classes, there's a schedule, there are things that you need to do, and there's very sometimes rigid, but we know where we are, and we know where we are in the progression of that. So when we come over here to this Queen of Cups and something to release, understand that you can only control so much, and that in this journey, it may not be a step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 process. This has come up in a couple other readings too, that just letting go and let flow, and that you might intend on, you might like see this thing pop up, and you want to work on that shadow aspect. But in the course of looking at it and shining light on it, it takes you on like a completely different journey than you thought you were going to be on. It takes you to something completely different. Like, you may think that your issue with relationships is because of your parents, and then you look into it and it's like, well, shadow work is all about ourselves though, right? And you're going to look into it and realize, no, it's me. You have to understand that and take responsibility for it. And that's okay. It's going to be, you can handle it. You're strong. So, what we can learn, the High Priestess. And I love her here. And I love that you have the High Priestess here, because she is learning. She is all about learning. She is all about the subconscious. She is all about connecting with intuition, and very connected here with this strength and this inner strength. And I love this depiction of her with this like information just like downloading into you, that once you start uncovering these things, you're just gonna have like this whole new idea about yourself, like in a good way. You're going to find out like these great strengths about yourself. A lot of times we start the shadow work because we see weaknesses, but really I need you to shift that thinking and really find your strengths, and highlight those, and really turn, you're shining a light on your weaknesses, in quote. But it's really, you're going to find out that these are things that make you unique, make you you, and strengthen you. Let's see, High Priestess. This could be a very spiritual experience for you. You could connect with your spiritual self, your higher self, the universe. Doing this, I feel like it's going to be really, really huge growth process. Divine whispers. Meditation could be important. Just sitting down, being at peace, and allowing like those divine thoughts, those positive thoughts to come into your mind and your consciousness from your subconscious. And then who can help you? Well, we've got the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles is a do-it-yourselfer. She is the ultimate DIY person. She did it herself, and she's very proud of herself. And why not? Because you've got this chariot here that speaks about picking up the reins and finding your direction and going that way. You have the Strength card, another major arcana card here. And then a Knight and a Queen and a High Priestess. High Priestess is another major arcana card. Of course you can do this. Of course, this is you being happy and content and finding success for yourself. It's a personal achievement. It's finding grounding. And you have two Pentacles, which is, I think this is going to help you out in, this. We're talking about shadow work. We're talking about ourselves. We're talking about the unconscious mind. But this is really going to help you in the material world, materially, like with everything around you. And that's because I think you get this alignment with yourself and really discover what you want and find the strength to go after those things. So let's pick some. Sorry. This is what happens when I shuffle. Like cards just fly out. Child Magical. This is an archetype card, by the way. So the light attributes here is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. I love that light attribute because really with these cards, I see that all things are possible. I talked about connecting with your subconscious, and it's going to help you in your material world. Shadow attributes are pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Well, you have the Knight of Pentacles. That is putting energy and action into something for growth. That's literally what that card is. So this is definitely related to you. So just keep that in the back of your mind that might be something you need to work on. Then we have the Artist, the light attributes, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. The High Priestess, I think, is beyond our senses, right? And then the Shadow The Shadow attributes is using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. So just If that resonates, great. If not, don't worry about it too much. That might be something that you uncover later. But talent as an excuse to mistreat others, I think we see that a lot. And I'm not necessarily talking about that particularly with you, but you hear stories all the time about actors who mistreat people. I used to work in the fashion industry. Oh my gosh, the egos there is crazy. So just because you do have like these really high level cards, and you are in yourself, and I hope you discover this if you don't believe it about yourself right now, like you do have this beautiful strength, this inner strength and this inner wisdom within you, that it doesn't mean that because you've figured yourself out that you can mistreat people who haven't figured themselves out. And then this card also popped out. Oh, Knight, and you have a Knight here. Light attributes: loyal, romance, and chivalry. A love of honor. And then the shadow attributes: allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So you might have some areas in your relationships or love lives that you want to take a look at. And let's get 2 more cards here. Change. Okay. Thunder, Moon, Change, and take a look at that. It's a really beautiful card. So she's got like all of these things kind of swirling around her. Lightning going off because, you know, a lot of times with change, there's a lot of ideas. And I feel like, especially with this High Priestess, that there's a lot of like epiphanies or new ideas coming in for you. Also, birds represent ideas. So even though, swords is the suit of ideas and there's no swords here, but I feel like, you know, I said that what you're going to do is going to impact your material world, like what your inside, your inner being, this work that you're doing on your shadow is going to affect that. I think that you're going to have, when you open up yourself, this High Priestess to ideas, that these ideas are going to help you with this, whatever change that you're looking for, that you're wanting to make. It's just going to be come in very quickly, almost like you're just being struck by a bolt of lightning. Oprah talks about it as being an aha moment. It also goes by the name of like an epiphany, like, oh, new idea. And just understand that it might be a grind to enact, but it is going to be something that can really change your perception about how you see the world and how you see yourself in it. And so that's really powerful. One more card. Ooh, Extremes, Hot Moon. So this is, even though it's called Extremes and the Hot Moon, I think it's in June, just for kind of a reference of a time frame here. It's really about balancing things out, that you don't get so wrapped up in your shadow work that you're ignoring the outside world. You don't get so wrapped up in yourself that you are ignoring your friends, that kind of thing, that kind of balance. And the strength is even a balance here, because it's a balance between like the hard and the soft. It's a balance between the fierce and the but serene kind of thing. So balance, I think, will be really helpful for you. And maybe you're coming to shadow work because you have kind of this, I'm not going to say that you're bipolar, but maybe you have like these really great days and these really low days. And, you know, having a great day is great, but the low days are not so great. But by taking taking up those reins in that chariot and finding your direction, that can help you let go of these extremes a little bit and really find the balance between in yourself and the outside world. I also notice this is really interesting when I'm talking about balance. We've got the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess, where they have their eyes closed and they're very much about themselves. And then even though there's only like one person on each one of these cards, it's not a group of people, but the Knight of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles are really, it's about the material world. It's about earth. It's about connection. So it's, really a balance. And then Strength is a balanced card. Like half of her face is a lion, half of her face is her. So you really, through all of these cards, and even the Chariot, usually there's two horses on there, and they're usually two different colors, and they have to work together to get to their destination. So it's pretty much everything in here in your reading, even the number 4, because 4 is stability. When you think of a chair has 4 legs. It's balanced. Everything about your reading is balanced. So that is something that you should look for and can be very, very important for you. So that's what I have, group 4. I hope this resonates. If you liked this reading, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye.